Now then, people, good afternoon. Welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. We are just 3 hours out now from tonight's game. There has been some updates concerning Noah Okafor and James Justin, so I wanted to bring these updates to you. I will be joined by JUSTJOE as well. He's just currently on a call, so JUSTJOE will be joining us very shortly as well. So watch this space. Obviously, JUSTJOE, not Joe, that's me. JUSTJOE had a bit of ahead of the game prior knowledge with regards to this this deal, and will have been speaking to the relevant peeps. So we shall see what he's got to say. But yeah, please do smash me a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course hit that notification bell. Before we go any further, just a few updates. Bilal El Khanous has told Leicester City he wants to join Crystal Palace. That has come out. That's come from Ben Jacobs, who's a Leicester City fan as well, by the way. Apparently, Leicester want around about 30 million. El Khanous relegation release clause has expired. Palace view El Khanous as a replacement for Eberechi Eze. I think they might have to go there as well because Club Bruges is basically Club Bruges are refusing to sell Tozzoli. So it looks like he'll stay at Club Bruges, and Bilal El Khanous will be the number one target for Palace to replace Eberechi Eze. It's also come out as well, and I don't want to give it too much credence, too much truth, but Slow Sports Peter O'Rourke has said Leeds United defender Pascal Struijk is a target for Villarreal before the close of the window. Don't listen to a word that dude says. Footy Insider, I ain't got a clue. And yeah, I don't. Do you think the club would sell Struijk? I don't think so. I think Struijk's happy at Leeds United as well. So I just don't see that happening, and I'm not taking any. I'm not taking any sort of anything he says really as something that we can put weight in. Like you said, Mason, we need him. Like if Leeds United got rid of him, we'd have to buy again. And for me, the defence and the midfield is sorted. The defence and the midfield is sorted. So I don't think he's going anywhere, and I won't listen to anything that Slow Sports Pete says. Now, in terms of the deal that we are, the main points I wanted to discuss is, look, it's been picked up by every man and his dog now in terms of Noah Okafor. Looks like it's a mover. It's been picked up by Ben Jacobs, Sasha Taglieri, Fabrizio Romano, and Zinny Boswell as well. Zinny Boswell, still no Yorkshire-based journalist, by the way. The local journalists are done out here. But Zinny Boswell has confirmed that Leeds are in advanced talks with AC Milan for Noah Okafor. Fee understood to be around 13 million is what he says. 30 million's cheap as chips. If we get him for 13 million, that'd be great. Maybe it's 17 million euros. Maybe it's 13 rising up to 17. I'm not too sure, which would mean the overall package would be which would be 20 million euros, 17. I'm not too sure, but he says 13 million. Spoke to Joe about it earlier. He thinks it's a little bit wider. The market's probably higher than that, but that's fine. I mean, if Leeds wants to say it was 13, I'll take it. But yeah, Zinny Boswell has said that we have reached an agreement or have received encouragement, that the 25-year-old wants to join, and the forward can play across the whole defensive line, which we're aware of, right? I think he's been earmarked as probably a left winger, though, for me. Here it says Leeds are in advanced talks with AC Milan for Noah Okafor. Fee understood for the forward who can play across the whole front line is understood to be around 13 million. Leeds have received encouragement. The player wants to join them. Sky in Italy reporting that Milan are now waiting to hear back about the severity of Leao's injury before making a final decision. Leao was forced off against Barry, and Okafor was on the bench for that game and came on in the 81st minute. I think it's clear he wants to move. They wouldn't mind him moving either. So we've got a fee. There's loads of differing amounts, but I think it's probably going to be less than the 20 million that that was being reported. I think Bologna had 15 million euros rejected. So I'm not too sure. Also, folks, an update on James Justin. Leeds United moved for Leicester City fullback James Justin in doubt after he picked up an injury in Saturday's defeat to Preston. Waiting to hear back on the severity of the problem before making a decision. They have other targets in case the deal for the 27-year-old falls through. This again was reported by Zinny Boswell, who says Leeds United move for Leicester City fullback is in doubt. He was forced off in the second half of Leicester's defeat against Preston. Obviously, wore the captain's armband for Leicester again. They're waiting to hear back about the severity of the problem. And we do have other targets. Who them other targets are, not too sure. I don't think that that's been confirmed. That's what people are thinking, but it doesn't look like a dead leg to me, is what I will say. Dead legs are tough, but I don't need carrying off two people. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with regards to that. So we shall see. Ampadu is a centre-back anyway. No, he's not. He's the number 6 and plays better there. Big up to James B, who has become a member. Big up to you. Thank you for being here. We will be being joined, of course, by Jer shortly, but he is on an important call. So we'll wait and see what happens there to see if indeed he can join us. What I want to do is just run through a little preview as well for tonight's game as Leeds United take on Everton. Big up to my man, Mr. Dodo, who's now been a member for a year and a half. Happy birthday, brother. Look, we make our return back to, normally I do a pre-recorded preview. They will come back. But with there being so much live content transfers and stuff, I just, I thought it'd get lost somewhere. So, I think they'll come back once the transfer window's shut. Hi, Joe Okafor is brilliant signing because he can play anywhere in attack and he's very, very fast, says Abdul Rahman Al Khalifi. Big up to you. Nice to see you back, mate. Harrison to start. I'm not too sure, Dara. Do you know what I do like, though? He's really gone on the charm offensive, Annie, with regards to putting money behind the bar. I feel, folks, as well, I might end up being on the right side of history with Harrison as well by the end of the season. So what I would advise you, start to come on over now so you don't look as silly. Andrew Michael, member for 15 months, Leeds to win 2-1. I'll take a 2-0. But let's he got the pints in. He's doing a lot. That's how he's making an apology. Let's talk about the game though. We'll make a return to the Premier League against Everton at Elland Road on Monday night. We need to make this a fortress. We need to make this a difficult place to go. We've seen the noise, the atmosphere that Sunderland brought to the occasion. They won and beat West Ham 3-0. 3-0. And hopefully we can do something similar, although I think our game might be a little bit tighter. Everton condemned Leeds to relegation on the final day of the 22-23 season. I think, would that have been under Lampard, I think, wasn't it? Yeah. But Whites are now back at the top table. Yeah, we are dining at the top table after winning the championship title last term. 2 years in the championship. Have been building up to this moment. After 2 years away and 100-point campaign, back-to-back seasons, we're ready. We're title winners. We're coming up as champions. We have the best chance of staying up due to this fact historically. Of course, there's still some bits that need doing in terms of transfers, but we're going to be fine. Now, we lost just one of our final 28 matches last season. We've got to carry that. You got, a bit like Ipswich did. We're not used to losing games. We don't lose games. Now, of course, we're going to have to get used to it. But the point is, we've lost just one of our final 28 matches. It's a huge step up, of course, but we have to bridge that gap. No worries, Sarah. Enjoy. We have to bridge that gap. It's quite funny. Like we lost one of our last 28 final matches when we were in the championship. Just one. However, when we got relegated, we took just 2 points from a possible 27. Let's hope it's nothing like that. I don't think it will be. Now, of course, as we know, recent history anyway, will tell us that the last 2 Premier League campaigns have been tough for newly promoted sides. But I just want to throw some context on this, right? The first season, when all 3 went down, had Burnley's naive football that just refused to change. Similarly, we saw that this past season with Russell Martin and Southampton. It had Sheffield United, and it also had Burnley, Sheffield United, and Luton. Luton are now in League One. Yeah. So there's the first one. Last season, we had Leicester, who lost their manager just before, bought really poorly. Ipswich, who bought in preparation for the Championship, and Southampton, naive like company. So my point is, context has to be applied. I think Leeds United, Sunderland, and Burnley come up stronger than any of them 3. Maybe not Leicester, but like I say, they bought poorly, acquired the wrong manager, sold Dewsbury Hall, lost Maresca. Yeah. And had not a lot of money to spend. Sunderland have bought really well. Leeds United were strong anyway and have added to it. We still need some extra bits in the final third. And Burnley, I can't lie, the transfer business isn't good. Looks like Scott Parker's just signed in his mates, bringing in Kyle Walker, bringing in Marcus Edwards last season. Just people he knows or is aware of. They haven't got goals. They just don't have goals for me, don't Burnley. I don't see where they come from. You're still running with Anthony. You've got Jean Fleming. You have got Armando Broja. I just don't see where the goals are coming from for Burnley, if I'm being totally honest. You could label the same as us, but we are coming up with the Championship's top scorer. We have had a Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Okay, he's not prolific, but he scores goals in the Premier League. But look, Leeds United, that's where there's differences to them other 2 seasons for me. We will be competitive. We saw that in pre-season. Of course, you can't look at that and say, well, pre-season means everything. But what I do take from it is that we're competitive. We'll be hard to beat. We drew against Villarreal, who beat Arsenal. We drew against Manchester United, who gave a very good account of themselves against Arsenal just yesterday. We drew against AC Milan, who beat Liverpool in pre-season. My point is, we will be difficult to beat. Now, of course, we're going to struggle to maybe score goals. Yes, definitely more than Burnley. I hear you. We need some added spice in the final third, and I think we'll get it. We have to take friendlies with a pinch of salt. Of course we do. Of course we do. But we can also take some positives from them as well. DJ Daz Williams says, Joe, do you think our squad is better starting this season or when we went down 2 years ago? Better this season. Better. You know, we had players like fucking Rocker. We had Weston McKenna. We had Rasmus Christensen, Voba, just shite. Now, of course, Everton, I would argue it's not as tough as Burnley got. I would rather we played West Ham, if I'm being honest. Everton, I think only the Arsenal, City and Liverpool took more points than David Moyes since he was appointed. Yeah? Pretty decent return. Of course, it's a new season. It is what it is. And they have bought really well of late. They brought in Grealish. They brought in Dewsbury Hall. They've got Illiman and Jai. They have Thierry Barry, Idrissa Gana Gueye. There'll be no Branthwaite, which is a plus, but they've got Tarkovsky, Michael Keane, Jacob Bryan, right back. I don't know who's starting at left back. It could well be Dwight McNeil because Mikalenko's out. But they have a decent side. Yeah, they have a decent side. And it will be a tricky test. Won't surprise me if David Moyes would take a point. Will Grealish definitely start? It's up in the air, righteous one. He hasn't played a lot of football for a long time. I do think Dewsbury Hall will. He's started in the last few pre-seasons, so he will start and probably start in the 10. Now, a win behind closed doors at Goodison in 2020 is Leeds' only win against Everton in 11 league meetings. History is not on our side. Yeah, the last 5 years at Elland Road against Everton, we haven't got a win. We haven't got a win in the last 5 games at Elland Road against Everton. There is no club in the top flight this season that Everton have a longer, ongoing, unbeaten run away from home against. So Everton fans will be coming confident because they don't lose at Elland Road. They don't lose at Elland Road. Again, I'll read through that. Everton, no one else in the top flight do Everton have a longer, ongoing, unbeaten run away from home against. But records are there to be broken. History is exactly what it is. History. It's all about the present, the here and now. Now, I guess a tick in our box, you could say, is that the Toffees have lost their opening fixture in each of the last 3 seasons. And even when facing newly promoted sides, they have struggled. They have struggled. In the 18 previous occasions where Everton have begun their league season against a newly promoted club, they have won only twice. And on the 2 occasions when that had been against Leeds, they lost them both. So when we've been a newly promoted side, they'd still lost them games. So they don't have a great record starting the season. But again, it's history. Does it really matter? Maybe not so. Maybe Everton fans are looking more forward to, of course, their next game, which is at the new stadium, the Hill Dickinson Stadium, where they take on Brighton. I'd love them to go into that on the back of a loss. We don't know how that's going to go for them. But this is about, Leeds United. Now, David Moyes hasn't had the best summer, if you like, in terms of incomings until recently. He's been out in the press saying, look, I'm not happy. And he's been given them new signings now. He wants even more additions. He wants Tyler Diblin at Southampton. They want big money for. He's looked at other players. I think he needs some defenders, that's for sure. Like I say, Branthwaite seems to always get some injuries. Tarkowski's aging. Michael Keane's back up. Moyes likes Michael Keane. It is what it is. But they haven't won in pre-season, haven't Everton? We have to take some confidence from that. Leeds have been difficult to beat. They haven't won. But then again, Forest only scored 1 goal and then scored 3 on the opening day. So should we take too much confidence from pre-season? I'm not too sure. But they've lost 4 of their 6 pre-season friendlies. 4. Including against Roma last weekend. But like I said, they have one of the best record at the back end of last season under Moyes. 31 points from a final 18 Premier League games, form which would have taken them into European contention when taken into isolation. But of course, the season's not won in isolation. Moyes wasn't there a full season though, right? But Leeds United's pre-season form against top opposition, 3 draws. There's, like I say, 2 draws and 4 losses. So we're both coming in winless, really, apart from if you count the German ones. Now, in terms of lineup and who's to pick out, of course, all eyes are going to be on DCL. Will he start? He hasn't had much of a pre-season, of course. We say that nowadays. It's not like back in the day when they're in pubs drinking, etc. DCL will have kept himself in tip-top shape. He'll have known about the Leeds move ages before we knew about the Leeds move. And he'll have had 4 training sessions. Maybe he starts. I don't think he will. I think he'll be on the bench. Let's hope he makes the squad. I'd like to see him make the squad because I'd love for his debut to come against Everton after he left under a cloud. Everton fans are not happy, of course. They'll say, we're glad he's not staying, etc. He's washed, he's this, he's that. But if he comes off the bench and gets the winner straight away, becomes a ledge, and Everton fans will be even more annoyed. Now, there are question marks over Jayden Bogle. I think he'll make it. We don't know what's going on with Ball now. And Biol is obviously suspended. But please, I pray now, inshallah, that Jayden Bogle starts, because anyone else at right back looks spooky. Of course, we'll have the debut there's going to be a debut for a few. Lucas Perry in goal. Obviously, no Melia will be in the squad, but Lucas Perry will be in goal. Goodmanson at left back. Will Sean Longstaff start over Tanaka? I'm thinking he might go Tanaka, but Sean Longstaff could be involved off the bench. Anton Stack in midfield as well. I don't think Metro start. I think it'll be Pirro. A big win for Leeds United, if we focus on Everton for a second, of course, is Jared Branthwaite. Jared Branthwaite is out and suffered a hamstring injury. So he's going to be out for at least a month. So Michael Keane will probably come in. He does love a goal, Michael Keane, for what it's worth. But yeah, Branthwaite being out's a massive win. Obviously, I mentioned as well, Mikalenko was forced off after 10 minutes against Roma. Groin issue. He might be fit. I hope he isn't, right? I hope he isn't, but he might be. And of course, there'll be, like Leeds United, when we talk about competitive debuts, Thierry Barry, Dewsbury Hall, they'll be pushing for starts. I think both of them play, if I'm honest. And we don't know what's going to happen with Jack Grealish, do we? look, outside of this game, I hope Grealish refines the player that he was prior to his move to City. I mean, he's still a treble winner, and he played a massive part in that City treble, but it went sour in the end. Now, in terms of a lineup for Leeds United, I think it'll be Perry in goal. I think Bogle will be pass fit. If not, it'll probably be Byram. Rodon, Strauch, centre-back, Goodmanson, left-back, midfield three, Tanaka, Ampadu, Stack, in that order. James on the right, Nonto on the left, Pirro up top. Now, in terms of what Everton will go with, as I say, Jake O'Brien at right-back, Pickford in goal, of course, Tarkowski, and I think it'll be Michael Keane. I don't know what's going on with Mikalenko, so it might be Dwight McNeil. Big up to Andy, who's 64 today as well. Happy birthday, regular, been here from the start, day ones. I hope we're in for your birthday, mate. Idrissa Gana Gueye and James Garner will be in the pivot. Idrissa Gana Gueye is apt at this level. James Garner is someone Leeds United liked before he got his move to Everton under Lampard from Manchester United. He's a good player, especially at this level. I think Dewsbury Hall will start in the 10. Grealish on the left, and Illiman and Jai, who's been starting on the left, will go out to the right. And I think they'll probably go with Thierry Barry, but it could be Beto. It could be Beto, right? It's a decent squad. What I will say for Everton, without Branthwaite, it makes them significantly weaker. Jers just joined us. I'll bring him in a sec. I'll just finish this. So without Branthwaite, it makes them significantly weaker. So it does give us an opportunity in front of goal. But what's clear is we've got to get better at creating them opportunities, because we haven't seen enough of them in pre-season. And Everton will be a tough nut to crack. It's the Premier League. It'll be a tough nut to crack. Got new faces though. I'm excited to see, and not even the new faces, Tanaka and co, Ampadu, Rodon, them back in the Premier League. Tanaka, of course, his debut in the Premier League. I've seen Pirro, for example, put out on his Instagram a picture of his family and stuff, and saying we've made it. You know, like, this is a big game for these Leeds lads. A lot like them Sunderland players, and that's why I think the crowd have a big part to play. Home advantage has a big part to play. Farker has a point to prove as well in the Premier League. He says he doesn't, but he knows deep down he does, right? It might take a little while for both teams to settle into it because of the new faces. So don't surprise me if it'd be a draw. Would that be such a bad result after the way the weekend's results have gone? Probably not. Probably not. But we could do with a win, because the next two are Arsenal and Newcastle. So ideally we could do with a win. I'm going to predict 2-0. Get your predictions in the chat, and we're going to bring in Jer now. He can chat a little bit on Everton before we go back to Noah Okafor and James Justin. Here he is. How are you, Jer? Look at us. Look at us.
Mine's transparent because of the green screen.
I love it, man. I love it. It looks darker, yours. Is it because of the green screen?
It's the green screen, the light in the room, yeah.
We got dressed for the occasion. We got dressed.
We did.
We're on coaching
ready to go.
I don't know if you caught any of that. Everton, though, tonight.
Been accounting for the last 2 hours.
It's fine. How are you feeling ahead of it, and how do you see the game going?
I'm excited about it, but it's been... Actually, make sure I got the right microphone to do, yeah.
You have it,
yeah, I'm excited about it because it's the first game of the season, and some of the reaction online over the last couple of weeks it started to drag me into this negative thought, and I wasn't thinking that way. I mean, we were on a massive high coming off the back of promotion. We thought we had a really good squad. I mean, people back at the end of the season were talking about Tanaka being Premier League level, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a couple of weeks ago, our squad became the shittest squad in the league, and we weren't signing players, and everyone we signed was broken. So it was the worst thing in the world. So I'm trying to push that noise. It's a minority of people that think like that. I mean, you know, from the video views that you get, and I know from the comments versus the views, the amount of people that actually talk like that is a small, very vocal minority of people. So
it's the vocal, aren't they? Yeah, exactly.
They're very vocal. Yeah, but I get that there's a fear element there, and I get that you're managing expectations, and I get all of that, and I understand the reasons why people are like that. They're part of it is insulating yourself against potential disappointment, and I understand that. I do get that, but I want to be excited about this. We've waited long enough. We've had 2 years and back down the championship, and I think we've got an opportunity now. And I know it's not going to be easy. We're going to lose far more games than we win, and we're going to maybe get. I saw you say last week 10 wins. I think we'll be lucky to get 10 wins, if I'm being very honest. But I think we'll pick up points and draws along the way as well. So I'm okay with it. But I want to enjoy this being the first game that it is. And if by Christmas we're in the shit, then we'll worry about it at Christmas, and we'll talk about being the shit then. But let's try and enjoy this ride for a little bit, because we've waited long enough to get back here. So let's have a proper crack at this. And I think
100%.
against Everton, we've got a good game to start with. I think that they've got their own sets of issues. They've done some decent business. The narrative changes on certain players again because of how the summer's gone. Dewsbury Hall is a player that most of us didn't even worry about before. And now all of a sudden he's a world beater after not playing ball for a year at Chelsea. Jack Grealish, yeah, great player, likes playing against Leeds, loves that the fan base in terms of the grief they get him. He thrives on that kind of stuff. He's a big game player, but he hasn't had a preseason. He's had no competitive football at all. He didn't kick a ball for Man City at all this summer. Has trained on his own. So you have to look at that as well. We have our own versions of that as well. But I think we've done good business. I think our defensive stuff looks good. And I want to see us have a proper go tonight. I want to see an identity from this Leeds team.
And to be honest, Farke's done the interview with Dorigo where he said, "No, we are going to have a go, aren't we?" But you did touch on a great point, and I think this is where the fan base maybe need to have an adjustment of mindset, because you mentioned it, and I touched on it earlier just before you popped in. Farke or Leeds United lost just one of our final 28 matches last season. The last time we were in the Premier League and we got relegated, we just took 2 points from a possible 27. So that's the difference, what we're talking about, right? We haven't lost in 28 when you look at it. Even pre-season, we haven't lost as well. So it's like, we're going to have to start to get used to that and understand where we are. But I'm quietly optimistic, confident about tonight. I think if we take what happened at Sunderland with their home crowd, being back after so long, we have to let that carry us, When Ipswich came into the Championship, for example, they were used to winning games. They took it into it. We've been used to winning games now for 2 seasons, 100 points each time. We have to have confidence in our ability, and hopefully it shows on the pitch. And I think the additions we have made, we're good, right? I think we'll be good. I think I'm excited to see Stack in the midfield up against the district. Yeah, same.
Our goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I mean, I was talking to people today about the squad, and obviously people are having a bit of a moan about Okafor injuries, and despite the fact that he's played the better part of 30 games for the last 3 seasons anyway, people are having a whinge about Mecha, DCL, all of that, and there's a valid point to some of them, but you've got to assume that they've got through their medicals and the club have checked them out, and they think that at least right now they're in a good place. But if you take them out of the equation, look, you've got Lucas Perry, who Fonseca, his manager 6 months ago, said was the best goalkeeper in world football. He's played in the Europa League. It might have been a little bit of hyperbole from his manager at the time, but has played Europa League football. Gabby Goodmunson played Champions League level football. Jacobiel, one of the highest rated centre-backs in Italy, who we were all very high on at the start of the summer when we signed him, obviously can't play tonight. But then you look at Anton Stack, top 1% in top 5 European leagues of defence and midfield statistics. Huge one to bring in as well. Sean Longstaff knows this division inside out, hard worker, presses like an absolute machine, will run all day for you. So you look at that and you think, they're not bad signings. They're good signings. They'll definitely move the bar for us. And Everton have lost a ton of experience. Like Doucouré coming out of their midfield is a massive loss to them. Like, that's a big player. So, we have to look at what we've got. And I still think Otanak is a Premier League level player. I think he's going to shock an awful lot of people this year. You talked about Farke having the point to prove. I think you've nailed it on the head. He does, but he's not the only one. He has to prove that when he's been back, he can be a Premier League level manager, because he hasn't proved that yet. So he has to do that. You've got goalkeepers and foreign internationals coming into the squad that will want to prove that they can hang in the Premier League. You've got Jayden Bogle, who want to prove that the season with Sheffield United was an outlier. You want to Pascal Stroke, Joe Rodon, Spurs. He wants to prove that they were wrong about him. And you're on mute, mate. I can't hear you.
You're right. Ampadu, Rodon, Bogle, and even Aronson. All these players, Dan James, who were at Premier League clubs, who feel probably, what is it? I want another crack at it. I'm not done with the Premier League. Yeah, exactly.
Like Bogle will look at it and go, I wasn't the reason we got relegated. I had a really good season, but the team wasn't good enough. Joe Rodon will say, well, maybe it was a bit early. Maybe I didn't get the chances I should have gotten. So I want to prove that. And Ethan Ampadu on lots of different levels, not just the fact that he wants to prove he's a Premier League level player, having been there with Chelsea and a few other clubs, but bounced around the place. A Premier League level captain.
Yeah.
So that's another step up again. Dan James was very good in his first half of season with Manchester United before they changed things there and brought Ronaldo back in. He was excellent for them. So he'll want to show, I can do this. And Jesse Marsh was wrong to send me off to Fulham. Yeah. I can do it. And then on the 2 years under Marcelo Bielsa, he played as a striker, not as a winger. So he wants to show that he can do what he's capable of on the wing. Willie Gnonto, 2 years ago went on strike because he was a Premier League level player and he wanted to go back to the Premier League. Now he gets a chance to show what he can do. So all of these people have got something to prove. And that's great because that's a chip on your shoulder. That's fire in your belly. And you want to go and do it. Go at these tonight. Have a crack at it. I mean, Arsenal and Newcastle, you're going to have to probably defend an awful lot. Although I didn't think Arsenal looked great yesterday at all. But have a crack tonight. Have a go. Show what you're capable of. Go at it.
No, you bang on. Right, okay. I'm going to fire some stuff at you now, RE transfers. Before we do, though, gives you a prediction, or do you not want to for tonight?
No, I don't mind. My brain is saying 1-1 draw. My heart is saying 2-1 win.
Nice. I'll take either. No, I want to win. I won't take a draw.
But I wouldn't be disappointed with a point depending on how it comes about.
100%. Cheers, Wolf Dog. Legend, mate. Right, I'm going to fire some stuff at you. First off, Slow Sports Pete, Strauch to Villarreal. We don't believe a word, do we?
Did you see my reply to her?
Yes, I did.
You can stick it up on screen if you want to. That's Pete's track record so far this summer. Miss. Joe Gallagher to Rangers permanent deal goes to Hull.
That was a good point. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
so I give you the whole thing because I just thought it was really, and it didn't take me long to pull together because he's really easy to find the stuff that he's put out there. It was he says Strauch, right? So earlier this year, he said that Leeds were interested in George Hurst from Ipswich. He said that Leeds are preparing to make a £14 million offer for Abdelli. He said Aston Villa, West Ham and Leeds are eyeing Southampton. Mateus Fernandez said that Darko JB was heading to a French club in this window and said that Joe Gallagher was in talks with Leeds and Rangers about a permanent exit to Glasgow Rangers. He went to Hull. So far, Slow Sport P is 0 for whatever.
Yeah. These are.
Why
would we go after George Hurst for fuck's sake in the Premier League?
George Hurst, but not in the Premier League.
No, not in the Premier League. Exactly. But,
I mean, if you're going to take, I mean, I've rightly or wrongly, I don't cover anything Football Insider say on my channel, no matter what they put out.
Yeah,
because they're never right. 2 years ago, I did a video and the title of the video was "Why don't you cover Football Insider's exclusives?" And then I had a raft of videos back to back of all of their exclusives for the summer, all of which ended up being wrong. The same thing everyone says, you stick Leeds on the thumbnail, click. Both of us got tagged in that, so we know people. He knows people click on that stuff, but that's not true. There's no journalism there.
No, you're right. Another one, you might not have seen this, mate, but Ben Jacobs has tweeted out to say that Bilal El Khanous has told Leicester he wants to join Leicester. Leicester want around about 30 million. Relegation release clause has expired. They view him as a replacement for Eze. We're done on that one now, aren't we? I don't think we're even.
I think we were done a while ago.
Yeah, I think so.
I said it to you a couple of weeks ago. I don't think this happens. I don't believe they've released. I believe the Leicester City journalists now who said that there wasn't a release clause because the maths don't maths on this one.
Any loophole maths?
Yeah, why would you let it 20? I mean, and again, the fact that it moved, it was £25 million release clause for weeks, and then on Saturday it became 30 million overnight. Like, okay, that's changed. Why has that changed? Then you look at the bid. Crystal Palace let a £25 million release clause expire and then bid 20 million the following day and have it rejected. Why not just bid 25 million? The whole point of a release clause is it gives the player an out when something happens. We've seen it with our players. Why would they let that expire? Why would the player and his agent allow that to tick over? Because now Leicester can demand whatever they want for the player. And it's now in the club's hands to control the narrative on that, no longer the player. So Khanous can say, I want to leave, but they can say, well, unless anybody bids what we value you at, you're staying put. He has no power anymore. So I don't believe that it was there. I think the Leicester City journalist, Locke, said it on your channel a while ago as well. But I think the Leicester City journalist said there wasn't a release clause. I think it looks like they were bang on the money. Yeah.
No, yeah, you're bang on right. We'll just quickly touch on James Justin, injury, Leeds United. It's in doubt. There are other options there. What? I mean, apparently it's not that bad. I'm not too sure.
Leg, I heard.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be a dead leg though, Joe, because surely we'd have heard by now and they'll push ahead with a deal for a dead leg. He must be having to have scans or something.
I would assume the club would want to have a look at the leg and assume and double check that it is just a dead leg and not something more serious than that. But it was a hell of a tackle he went into.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that. But Zinni Boswell does follow it up, saying Leeds have other options if that one doesn't happen.
Mentioned.
Yeah. I still think Tanganga's available. I don't know why.
I'd love him.
But yeah,
good player.
Yeah, I agree. Noah Okafor, then we've seen that one has really picked up pace after we were chatting about it on here on this very channel. And we've seen now it's been picked up. Romano, Jacobs, everybody, but now it's really got legs. And Zinny Boswell come out, said 13 million. I don't know if that's a little bit too low. I mean, it'd be great if it was that. I've just seen a tweet now from Milan Post who say Okafor closing in on Leeds. Still no agreement. Milan are asking for slightly more than 20 million euros, but the deal could be done for around 18 to 20 million euros, which equates to around about 17 odd.
15 to 17 million pounds,
Yeah.
And if Zinny's been saying 13, if it's 13 plus add-ons up to 15 or 16, then you're banging the ballpark.
Yeah. What do we reckon? Gonna happen, I think. Yeah.
I think it's gonna happen. Yeah. And I know just people are looking at the injury record, but we've got to be realistic about this. Last 4 years, we've been 2 years in the championship, 2 years in a relegation battle. Who are we going to attract of a serious level at this point, bar championship level players? Do we go down the route of bringing in a Hamer or Buendia? And there's question marks about Buendia's fitness as well after his ACL injury. So you're kind of in that bracket anyway. I like him. And the way I look at it this way is, yeah, he has an injury history. I spoke to Andrea today and he talked about the conditioning in Italy not being the same. The level of fitness isn't the same. So the players put on a little bit of weight when they go there. It'll be very different in the UK. Maybe that contributed to some of the injuries he had. He misses like 2-3 games and he's back for a bit. Then it's 2 or 3 games and he's back for a bit, and maybe they're just that kind of stuff. But I look at recent history and right now, he's had a full preseason. He's been fully fit all year. He looks really sharp and really good. He was very good against us. Yeah. He's another tall boy, 6'1". He's 25 years of age. He's got growth there as well. I mean, I think it's a really good signing for us. I think that, and I get that there is a gamble on this. There's a little bit of risk to everything Leeds are doing right now in this part of the pitch. But this is where you have to get into that territory. We're solid defensively. We've got good players in that area. You want a bit of flair. There's always a level of risk in that. Will they even perform when they come here? Yeah. Okafor wants to kickstart his career. He wants to prove that the form he had at Red Bull before he moved to AC Milan is still there. It's a World Cup year. He's going to want to show that he's fit, sharp, and ready to go for Switzerland in the World Cup in the summer. So, yeah, I like it an awful lot. I think he adds something to us. Good set piece taker, very, very progressive player. When he gets it, he's aggressive. He runs. One thing, the problem I've got with Winnie Nanto right now that's been driving me nuts is he won't run at people anymore. And he has it in his locker. He's just not doing it anymore. I don't know why he stopped doing it. No, Okafor will run at you. Straight away, get the ball and he'll turn and run. And what will happen is he'll run at you and turn around and come back because if there's no forward options, he keeps the ball. He doesn't waste it. But he will run at you and he will try and get shots away and he will link the play quite well. So, and if you're stuck for a striker, he can step in there. But from what I was told about him, one of the reasons he's looking to leave Milan is he doesn't want to play as a striker. He wants to play on the left where he was playing with Red Bull. And he feels he does the best work out there. Which is where he was against us.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and he gave Isaac Schmidt a torrid to him, didn't he?
Horrible take, yeah.
He did. Yeah, listen, I've seen a lot of takes. I mean, listen, I saw some takes from some and that was hyping up the Ben Doak transfer. And I'm not throwing shade at Ben Doak here. My point is, I don't think he's a player that Leeds United need right now. I get why he's gone to Bournemouth because they're stable and he has time to grow and learn and etc. We need oven-ready players now, and I think Noah Okafor gives us that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But also, this has happened all summer. Leeds are linked with a player. Yeah. No one wants him. He goes somewhere else. The same people didn't want him, and then complaining, why didn't we go get him? I mean, the outrage for Broja, who was then injured for the first game of the season. I mean,
mate, he's scored about 3 goals in so many games as well.
But you talk about an injured player. He comes into them and he's injured immediately. Yeah. So, but he's kind of, but they've paid. If you look at the Chelsea fans' reaction to Broja, the 2 players they brought from Chelsea, the comment has been applause to their sporting director for getting that amount of money for 2 players that haven't been doing anything. So, if you look at different sides of it, but last week nobody wanted Ben Doak. It was too much money. It was overpriced, and he wasn't ready. Now there's an outrage that we haven't signed Ben Doak, so you can't win.
Exactly, I agree with you. I agree. Look, we've got 2 weeks left of the window. I asked Andrea this earlier on. Say Noah Okafor comes in, how many more do we get and what positions?
I still think we do 2.
Okay, yeah, I think 2.
After him, I think a striker and a fullback.
Do you? No right winger?
Well, I think it'd be striker or right winger, but I think it'll depend on what they decide to do with Okafor. Do they see him as an option to play up front? or do they want to bring in a bespoke striker? I mean, Demirovic would be fantastic to get in, but that's 40 million euro, 38, 37 million pounds.
With Okafor now, we'll be close to like 90 odd million, won't we? If we pay.
Well, we're at 75 now. If we pay 50, you will be. Yeah,
about 90 mil.
About 90 mil, which is not bad. Yeah. I know there was this, and it should be pointed out, the club never said they were going to spend 100 to 150 million. Journalists did, but even if they do that, you're in that ballpark now. I heard your analogy this morning was fantastic. If I wake up in the morning with change in my pocket from the night before, happy days.
Happy days. Yeah, I'm not going, why didn't I spend this? You know what I mean?
3-year PSR window, January to consider just in case. Just to have it's nice to have just in case money. Always.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I think we might go back with right winger, something like that. I think those maybe go. It all depends on what they're seeing in training from Calvert-Lewin. If they're seeing a lot, they're probably going, right, okay, I think we can get by. I know that's not ideal wording for you're in the Premier League, let's get by, but
what if he's fit? But what if he is fit?
That's what I'm saying. If he is fit, this new striker might not even get in. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, you're right.
There's lots of ifs. I think I've described this season as it should be in inverted commas, if. The entire season sits on if. If players can prove that they can step up to the level, if the manager can prove that he's at the level, if the new players coming in click, if the injured players, the players with injury histories are fit. That's all if.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Right, mate, we will leave it there because I want to get a nap in before tonight's game. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Make sure you join me live at 7 o'clock as well, live on YouTube, covering the game. Big up. Go follow Joe at Leeds United The View. And, see you tonight, hopefully. And, we'll leave it there. Bye-bye now.